Welcome. So glad you could join me. It's so nice to kind of get started on these little more intimate terms where it's just you and me. No music, no overly lavish intro to get between you, me, and the love that we're sharing and are about to share. So welcome. This is, as you might have guessed, a different type of episode than the usual episode if you usually do listen to the usual type of episodes. Yet this is going to be just as powerful, if not more, because we're going back in time to a classic engineering, emotions, and energy podcast episode. Now, most shows, when the holidays in the U.S. come up, they phone it in. They phone it in. They either don't even do a show, or that's when they do the best of. This show is different because I'm different, and I know you're different. I'm phoning it in now, before the holiday season, so that you can get the best, freshest content during that time of year where you might really be craving, some new perspectives, some tools, or just a friendly, calming, lovely voice such as mine, and knowing that it was recorded very soon to when you listened. So just because this is a classic episode that I'm about to play for you doesn't mean that the lessons aren't very appropriate for today. If not, maybe they're even more appropriate. Because when I was re-listening, I was like, oh my gosh, this is still relevant, if not even more so now. It's really, really quite incredible. And what's funny is some of the things I'm like, yeah, that still makes total sense. And there's even more depth that can happen about it. This episode, which goes back to just about 3 years exactly, was recorded November 20th, 2020. It's the 39th episode I ever recorded, and it's called Creating Space in Your Life. I also thought I would be doing seasons because I thought that was a thing podcasts were supposed to do. So it was the season 1 finale. I did take like 2 or 3 months off after that. And what was really fun, kind of like going back and revisiting this episode, was, one, I talk about how basically I took space out of trying to find a long-term relationship, and that's in the result of how I ended up meeting my wife, who I've now been divorced from for a while now, and I've kind of gone through a similar stage recently in my life too, where I think I'd say what's shifted is I kind of was doing that for that purpose, but this time I've kind of been taking a break just to really, really enjoy myself and really getting a chance to get to know people and myself without that drive to have to be or have somebody. And it's really been quite refreshing. And I think there's a lot of things in life like that where we can start to see like, hey, maybe I can like let go and allow some space and just really get to enjoy myself, figure out what I'm about and what I want, and allow that to take shape, to take hold. Because as I talk about in the episode, space is really, a lot of times we think like, oh my gosh, I have nothing. Well, really, you have infinite possibility, and that can be a little unshaky. And so this episode really is great to get into that. And, it also sort of talks about getting ready for the holiday season, because this was before the Thanksgiving holiday back then. But don't be worried. Don't be worried. I'll be back with a brand new, piping hot, fresh episode, possibly from a very interesting location. So do stay subscribed. Make sure you're following, liking, whatever you can. Share this with a friend, because I'm sure they'll benefit and they'll know that you care, because there's a lot of heart, a lot of love in this show, and from me to you. So Justin Wink, Ph.D. on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and what's the other? TikTok. So find me there, direct message me, would be great. And thanks so much. And I think that's enough. Let's get to the show. Play the show. Are we going to play the show? They said, okay, they're going to play the show now. Here's the show. Enjoy. Welcome to the Engineering, Emotions, and Energy podcast. I'm your host, Justin Wink. Today's show, we're going to be talking about letting some space into your life so that the things that you want to show up actually have a room to where they can show up and become part of your life, instead of finding, hey, no room at the end, get the fuck out, and all this good fortune just can't find a place in your life because you're so busy. And this is also the season finale of the Engineering and Emotions podcast. So be signing off here for a while, so that can allow some space, so that some new greatness can come into the emotions engineering initiative, where we're trying to help people live passion and purposeful lives. So let me ask you a question. Have you ever painted, and when you painted, did you have a blank canvas, or did you not get past the paint by numbers, where things were really basically filled out, and you just had to kind of fill in the numbers with the different colors, and there really wasn't a lot of room for something new to take shape on that paint by numbers canvas? Not to say that there's anything wrong with the paint by numbers canvas. It's just that there's only so many options. Maybe you can change the colors. Maybe you get a little wild and change stuff a little bit. But if you kind of got everything laid out and it is a certain way, it's really not going to be able to change very much, right? Whereas if you have a blank canvas, there's an infinite amount of possibilities. And I know for myself, and many of us are like this, we start out with the paint by numbers, and we forget that we've become proficient painters, and we don't realize that, hey, maybe it's time to start with a blank canvas and paint something from our own creative mind, our own heart, with our own purpose. And we've just been painting what somebody else has given us. So that's something that I've continuously worked on. And so going to take a little time off, because really when I started this thing close to almost a year ago now, it was really just, hey, let me try getting my voice out there. I know I've been studying yoga, neurolinguistic programming, coaching modalities, meditation for many, many, many years, depending on which thing we're talking about. And let me start sharing that instead of keeping it all to myself. So been really happy with, people every now and then telling me like, oh man, I catch your podcast. It's really great. I love what you said on that one. And it's been awesome having the guests on the show and getting these other perspectives, and I get to learn their story and how they've gotten to where they are, and then also bring their work to you guys. And so it just really has been a fantastic experience. And I'm looking to for season 2, kind of get a little bit more of a content game plan, something structured, get more disciplined, be more committed to a schedule, so that you can start to come to rely on this show as something that, you tune in every week and you're going to get a little something good, a little something in a certain area, and you know what to expect. Because I 2020 has really shown us, and it's always been true, that life is going to have some ups and downs. But sometimes if we just kind of, are disciplined with some things, the rest of the details kind of work themselves out. And I don't know, I've really been noticing this past week. Even today, I had a acupuncture appointment because I've started doing acupuncture to sort of relieve stress and some of my muscle aches and tension. And the acupuncturist I go to it's about a 30-minute drive away. So I roll up, and someone comes out of the door, which is very strange to go to a doctor's type office, and someone opens the door and is like, "Yeah, are you Justin?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Well, sorry, but our power's been out since noon. It was a 2:30 appointment, so I don't know if we're going to be able to do it." And then the doctor, he rolls out and goes, "Well, actually, I got a room that's got a window, so there's a little light. There's enough light so we can see what we're doing, so I'm not like poking your eyeballs. So if you're game, I'm game." And I'm like, "All right, let's do it." And got all set up. Got needles in my arms and my legs and my feet. And about 5 minutes in, I've got my eyes closed, and a big bright light. So the power came on. And so then he was able to get the heat lamp going, the fun woo-woo relaxing music. And I was able to just drop into the most relaxed session I've had yet. This is only my fourth session, and each session I've been able to relax more and more. So I'm starting to really see the benefits of acupuncture, and so I'm looking forward to more sessions. But I just kind of showed up, rolled with it. I wasn't upset either way. It's like, hey, if it doesn't happen today, I'll just come back another day. And they found a way for things to get in because I wasn't too attached to the time or the exact way. So back to sort of the main topic of allowing some space in so that you can actually get what you want. So one area where I've had really good experience in this is in the area of romantic relationships. So most of my adult life I spent being a serial monogamist, where I would just go from one relationship to another relationship, and they were always good experiences, and a lot of great women, and many of them I'm still in touch with, and so grateful for the experience. It just was one of those like, hey, not a good fit. And as I got into my early 30s, I was like, what is going on here? I still haven't met someone where I'm just like, oh, I can't imagine not being with this person. Was usually like, this person's fine, just there's something that's not a great fit. But I never allowed that space where I could allow that person that would be a great fit to come into my life. So this was about probably seven years ago now, because I met my wife about just a little bit over 6 years now. We've been married just over a year. And I said to myself, I got to get this handled. I got to figure out how to find someone that really lights me up, that we're just really in sync, and it's not just like, well, you're a great person. I don't know if you're the person for me, but I guess better than being alone. So I said, I am going to go out of my way to not be in a relationship, a committed relationship. And I'm just going to focus on having fun and meeting people. So I'm going to enjoy the process of cultivating relationships. And this is one of these things that I'm, finding more and more in different aspects, that ultimately the having, because, especially when it comes to people, we never actually have another human being anyway. So that it's a busted concept from the beginning that, oh, I'm going to have this person and they will be mine forever, even though that's, what we're programmed with movies and TV and romance novels and all these things. But, really it's about finding someone to share an experience with. And so if we can get good at learning how to initiate and start sharing experiences with other people and just enjoy that process, we can continuously enjoy that process. And if we find someone that we want to share the majority of our time with, then that ends up being someone that is fantastic for a relationship and a marriage type situation. And so I purposely went out of my way to not get into a long-term relationship. And there are many women that did not like because I wanted to be very, very ethical, very upfront. Just, hey, I am, not looking to get into a long-term relationship. I'm, just looking to meet people and have fun. I will be dating other people. And if that's not your thing, that's totally okay. I wish you the best, because I want you to find someone that, it's compatible with at all times and all ways. Right. And so some did not like that, because again, this programming of, hey, you got to find someone to have someone. It's like, well, wait, this person's going to be going someone else. Like, that means I can't get them. And men do this as well. So this is not, one way or the other. And this can happen in, all types of combinations of gender, right? This is just something people do. So I'm just speaking from my experience. But really, when you start to think of like, well, who do I really want? I want someone who had lots of options, and they chose to spend the majority of their time with me. So that means I need to be a person that's okay with that other person having options, which means seeing other people, dating other people, and not freaking out, not being all upset if I found out they had another date or something, because this person's got a lot of options. And again, if it's just about sharing experience and seeing where that leads, just, in a lot of ways, nobody is monogamous. Maybe there's a select few. I definitely know a couple people that, they had their one love in high school and that's the only person they've ever been with. But short of that, just about everyone is not monogamous. They're just monogamous at given instances in time, but over their lifetime, they have not been monogamous. So in some ways, what is the difference between being polyamorous over time versus be polyamorous, concurrently? I'm not going to get into that, but just something, to kind of throw out there. And it was when I was at most okay with not having anyone. Effectively, I had a complete blank space on my relationship easel, if you will. I had lots of colors to play with. That's when I got, met my current wife, and it was just like, wow, this is the person. But if I hadn't kept having that sort of blank slate, excuse me there, have a little, let me get a little water. This is recording live. So I'm drinking Waterloo sparkling water, black cherry, if you're wondering. So Waterloo, if someone from there's, feel free to send a case over. Just, at Emotions Engineering on Facebook, e-motionsengineering.com. Anyway, but that's when there was space for her to show up. Previously, a woman like her could have been showing up, but I could have been already, in a committed relationship and had to go, nope, no room for you. So just keep in mind, if you keep asking for stuff, do you actually have room for that in your life? Or have you packed it so full of activities, of people, of nonsense, of just, distraction, that even if, the person of your dreams, the job of your dreams, the activity of your dreams, anything actually showed up in your life, would you actually have the space to be able to accept it into your life? So, and this time that we're about to go into, where it's often about, accumulating very much material, getting more. And, in some ways, holidays is like that, because, it ends up being, well, I need to show how many people, I can be around for the holidays to prove to myself and everyone else that I'm not alone. This can also be a really great time to be intentional about your alone time. I'm not saying don't spend time with people, just are they the people that you really want to spend time with, or are you spending time with them because that's just what you're supposed to do? It looks good. That's what it's just part of being part of the society, or can you take this as an opportunity to really dial it back and leave some space? And there's a great excuse, CDC, because this is November 20th is when I'm recording this, just issued saying like, please spend the holidays, only with the people you've been living with. So you got a good excuse to go like, hey, sorry, not going to make it, trying to be respectful, whatever. So try it out. Try allowing some more space in your life, because you will be amazed at what shows up. And worst case, what can show up is some peace and serenity and some calm. So I wish that for all of you. Thanks so much for listening. This has been a fantastic first season of this podcast, and I'm excited to come back when we come back and have some great material for you. It's going to be phenomenal. So if you got any questions, or if you want to bounce anything off of me, feel free to contact me. Justin at emotionsengineering.com, on Facebook at Emotions Engineering. So, hit me up. I love to answer questions. If you got any comments or any ideas to make the show better for when we come back, even if it's just something silly like, Justin, like your podcast cover art, like, come on, it's ridiculous, which is something I want to do some new cover art. So really want to do a cool, fun relaunch. So again, thanks for listening, and have some amazing holidays, and make them your holidays. So that's all. And I'm going to sign off this one with Eric, the actor, who is a Howard Stern, Sacramento area legend, who passed, I think, a few years ago. So I'm going to use his sign off, and I'm going to say bye for now.